So, yeah, there's a bit of a problem with this alliance with Impact and AEW's partnership, and especially during the build up for Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann at Impact Rebellion. The problem is okay, so Kenny Omega was showing up for tapings for Impact Wrestling as the road to Rebellion continues. And they've been building up Kenny Omega and Rich Swann. Okay, they've been building up Kenny Omega, and Don Callis has been signing with Impact, has been signing with Omega and his own agenda and everything. This was a 12-minute long promo. I like to stress this out. This was a 12-minute long segment if you also include entrances. But there's just this problem that I'm having with this. It's like, how do I describe this? It's like, it's so one sided. Like, yeah, they've had Rich Swann come out and cut a promo against Omega about how he's unfazed and unflustered. And he has battled adversity his whole life. Swann gave props to Omega for putting him down with a wandering angel. He added that the caveat of the Good Brothers being involved helped Omega during the main event at Hard to Kill. In the singles encounter during that bout, Swann got the best of Omega in every situation. Swann has tricks up his sleeves to defend against the devastating maneuver, but what's Omega going to do to defend for every other situation? And Tony Khan did a paid advertisement, and Omega and Don Callis showed up, dropped by to join Khan earlier in the show. The champ ended up walking out at the insinuation that there was a gap greater than zero chance Matt Sydal could beat him on Dynamite during a title shot. I'll get to that in the next video. But here's the thing. So one of my followers on Twitter who operates the Wrestling News World, let me just see if I got the name of the site right, WrestlingNewsWorld.com, he will goes ahead and says how fans are starting to turn on the whole Impact AEW partnership. I'm like, I haven't seen that much of it in terms of being turned on, but like being turned on by fans. Maybe fanatics, because fanatics like to tribalists and fanaticism, who are extremely die hard to the point that they'll just damage everything. But I think it's more like people are like, okay, it's good, but it's not being what we were being promised by both sides of the fence. So no, it's not AEW's fault. It's not Impact's fault. It's not either or. It's both's fault, because and I don't even know if this was management's fault, honestly. It was all the teasing and all these possibilities that they were giving us fans, especially the roster, when they were saying, hey, we're going to do a partnership. Like, really think about it. Like, the only one that happened in terms of what we got so far out of this partnership that's not Kenny Omega related was Private Party and Matt Hardy showing up. That's it. That's it. Like, that's all we got. And while that was good, it was like, that's what we want. But it's like, but then we were supposed to get Sammy Guevara and his stuff, and apparently but he didn't like the story that was being presented. And one of the ideas was that he was going to be, one of the ideas that he presented was that he wanted to take the Impact X Division title, but Impact didn't like that idea. So Sammy was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to work there because I feel like I don't agree with the story and everything. Okay, I don't know much about the details about that. But it's like, how can this, like, this is what fans wanted. They didn't just want Kenny Omega to come in and be the belt collector. Like, there are fans who are against the idea of Kenny Omega just up and taking the belt and everything. No, people wanted like Sami Callihan, the Death Machine, to take on Jon Moxley in a deathmatch style fight. They wanted Eddie Kingston to show up with his family back when he was still operating it, to show up and take on to like try and recruit more groups to his pack. They wanted Hikaru Shida and I can't pronounce her name, so I'm not even gonna try, the Impact Women's Champion, to go head to head in competition. That's what people wanted. But the other major problem with this one-sided issue is Kenny Omega has gotten the foot over Rich Swann throughout this entire feud. Like, yeah, there's been some promo from Rich Swann, but it's like, Okay, when is he gonna show up on Impact on AEW though? Shouldn't he be like showing up and beating the hell out of Omega, show up on his turf, and like creating the divide? Like they haven't even. I don't think they even addressed, Tony Khan and Jerry Lynn's involvement in the tag team match, which is a question I have. But it's like this like when like we only got the Good Brothers showing up on AEW, but people don't count that because it was kind of obvious they would show up because Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, the buddies, the Young Bucks, their buddies. But it's it's this problem some fans have been expressing a little bit where it's like that stuff is cool, we got that, but like can we get like the mid card talent showing up? Can we get like Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus to do some insane stuff in Impact? Can we have Sammy Callahan show up on AEW to challenge Moxley or Eddie Kingston? Can we have Pentagon Jr. or Ray Phoenix show up and LAX show up on Impact Wrestling and do a little reunion there? Can we like do something with these guys and gals that are not Omega and the Good Brothers? Like I think that's what people wanted more than just what we're getting so far. And like I said, Rich Swann has been getting one-sided most of the time in this. Like they've done promos, but like Kenny Omega has been on both shows and has been working everything up to build to this match. Yeah, I'm like, okay, Rich Swann, you do realize you're gonna have to show up on Impact on AEW, right? You're their champ, you're the Impact champion. You gotta represent your company. We need a retaliation. Impact needs a retaliation victory out of this. Like I am expecting Kenny Omega to win at Rebellion unless something happens behind the scenes or they try and change things up. But yeah, that's the bigger problem here is because reportedly there is a conflict going on, not a big one, but it's still kind of important regarding how are we going to do this? Is Impact going to take their AEW title? Well, Tony Khan says no, they can't do that. I believe that the champion should lose when he loses the belt. However, Impact's like, we will perfectly let our champion lose if it's sort of the story, but we want our world champion to show up every week, even if it's not a wrestling match, he can still cut promos. So it's like, oh dear, I'm like, it's not like as bad as Super Clash all those decades ago when there was a conflict of interest with Ego, but it's like it's still, it's more like a clashing philosophy of, well, at least we did get something, albeit it led to horrendous tragedies and the collapse of an entire company. But yeah, I'm not even gonna cover that. But I was just thinking to myself, okay, can we just like have more talent exchange going on? Like I forgive New Japan Pro Wrestling, like they have a working relationship with both companies. I'm still stunned about their working with Impact, even though the Good Brothers are there. I was thinking to myself, okay, so I get why they can't send the more heavy hitters. Like we're not going to see Okada show up on Impact or AEW anytime soon because we have a damn pandemic ruining our lives. So we can't have like an Okada or sadly, and well, actually, this is not sadly for me because I really don't like the guy as a person, but as a talent, he's awesome. Osprey. We don't have talent. We don't like the only one who showed up on AEW and Impact are Kenta and Finjuice. Kenta, oh, he's a big name. He's been challenging for the world title at times, and he was the biggest heel in the company before the pandemic hit when he destroyed Naito Kingdom's ending. Oh boy, that pissed people off to the extreme. Except for Kenta's biggest diehard fan. Shout out to her. But it's like I think that's just been the biggest issue with this whole stuff going on because it feels like one-sided. We got all the AEW, we got some AEW talent showing more on Impact, but we're not having more Impact wrestlers show up on Dynamite. It's just been this issue, and plus Kenny's been one-siding the hell out of out of Rich Swann in this feud so far, especially when you got Don Callis being all Paul Heyman esque. which I'm still saying Paul Heyman and Kenny Omega, Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns taking on Kenny Omega and Don Callis on the microphones and the promos and the build-up would be freaking phenomenal. Especially when you bring up, especially since Don Callis is freaking Cyrus the fucking Virus. I bet some people are still stunned by that. Like, someone even told me, like, wait, that's Cyrus the Virus? But where's the hair? Where's the cancel the network thing? Well, he is now the network, essentially. But, so yeah, it's going to be very vital for the next coming weeks to see how they do this. But there is a bit of a, we got a problem here. So, yeah, I'm not turning on this story, on this shared universe stuff so far on my front, but like, it does need some help. It does need some help in developing on this. But like I said, we're gonna have to see how they handle it heading into Rebellion, how they handle it in the Fallout. So, like I said, I'm still on this partnership 100%, but I am expressing that there is a problem here regarding how the talent sharing is going. So we'll have to see how that goes, and we'll have to stay tuned for more. So this was Neo Reality Entertainment, the WrestleVerse, presenting Kenny Omega's latest promo escapade with Don Callis on Impact Wrestling, aka the problem in the partnership. If you feel like, comment, subscribe, check out my content in the description below. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you all next time. Peace and take care.